Welcome to Expanding Employment Options for Texans with Disabilities by Debunking Myths and Stereotypes, a series of informative videos created for Texans with disabilities, their families, and service providers with funding from the Texas Council for Developmental Disabilities. Today's video, Debunking the 3 Biggest Myths about SSI and Work. Many SSI recipients believe if I try to go to work, I will lose my health care. This myth is false. As long as you are receiving an SSI cash benefit in any amount, you will keep your Medicaid and may even be able to keep it if your cash benefits stop due to work. If you experience the loss of your SSI payment, your Medicaid coverage may continue under 1619B. You may qualify for continued Medicaid eligibility under 1619B if you lose your SSI cash benefits due to earned income, you remain disabled, you continue to have assets under $2,000, $3,000 for an eligible couple, you need Medicaid to work, you have been eligible for SSI for at least 1 month, and your annual earnings are below the state threshold amount. In the state of Texas, the 2017 state threshold amount is $34,821 in annual income. An individualized threshold amount at a higher rate may be available to you if you have higher than normal Medicaid costs or you're using certain work incentives. Another common myth is if I am receiving SSI benefits, I can only work part-time. This myth is false. When you work, your SSI cash benefit amount is not based on how many hours you work, it is based on how much money you earn. The amount of your SSI check will be decreased based on your monthly income and your use of work incentives. If your cash benefit ends because of your earned income, you may still be eligible for Medicaid under 1619B until you reach the annual earnings threshold for the state of Texas, which in 2017 is $34,821. When you are receiving SSI, it pays to work because a portion of your earned income will be reduced from your cash benefit. Let's take a look at an example of how this works. In this first example, let's assume you've decided to test your ability to work. You're working part-time, earning $1,085 in a month, and you have no other income. First, SSA will deduct $20 in a general income exclusion. Next, because you earned the money, an additional $65 will be deducted as an earned income exclusion. The remaining amount, $1,000, will be divided in half. So even though you earned $1,085, your countable earnings are $500. Assuming you're eligible for the full federal benefit rate of $735 in SSI, $500 will be deducted. Your new SSI cash benefit will be $235. So this month, you have $235 in SSI, plus $1,085 in gross earnings, for a total monthly income of $1,320, high above the original $735 you had in SSI alone. In this second example, let's assume you've decided to increase your monthly income. You are now working full-time with gross monthly earnings of $2,640. First, SSA will deduct $20 as a general income exclusion because you have no other income. Next, because you earned the money, SSA will subtract $65 as an earned income exclusion. Once again, your earnings will be divided in half, so your countable earnings are $1,277.50. We will again assume that you're eligible for the full federal benefit rate of $735 in SSI. When we deduct your countable income of $1,277.50, we find you are no longer eligible for an SSI cash benefit. but your earnings in the month of $2,640 bring your total income to more than 3 times what you were receiving in SSI alone. And if you remember, you may still be eligible for Medicaid because your earnings have not exceeded this Texas state threshold amount of $34,821, so your Medicaid may continue under 1619B. A third myth many SSI recipients believe is, if I go to work and I lose my job or can't work, I will have to reapply for benefits. This myth is false. If your earnings decrease or end, your SSI cash benefits may start again immediately if you received an SSI cash or a healthcare benefit in the last 12 months, you remain disabled, you continue to have assets under $2,000, $3,000 for an eligible couple. If it has been more than 12 months since your last cash or healthcare benefit, you may not need to reapply for benefits if you are unable to work due to your medical condition, you stopped working within the last 60 months or 5 years, you remain disabled, you continue to have assets under $2,000, $3,000 for an eligible couple, and you request expedited reinstatement of benefits. Expedited reinstatement, or EXR, offers a fast track to benefits reinstatement if you worked your way off benefits and make the reinstatement request within 5 years after your benefits stopped. While Social Security reviews your benefits reinstatement request, you are eligible to receive temporary benefits for up to 6 months, unless Social Security determines you are no longer disabled. If Social Security later determines you are no longer disabled, you do not have to pay back the 6 months. You may also be eligible for Medicaid during this period. Now you know the truth about SSI and work. It is possible to work and keep your health care. Even if your cash benefits end, you may be eligible for Medicaid under 1619B up to the Texas state threshold amount of $34,821 in 2017. And if you have an opportunity to earn over that amount, an individualized threshold amount may be available. It pays to work and earn as much as possible. With proper guidance, the end of your cash benefits will be a planned event. And if your cash benefits end and you can no longer work, you may not have to reapply for benefits thanks to expedited reinstatement. For more detailed information, contact the Ticket to Work helpline at 1-866-968-7842. A special thank you. Today's video is provided through funding from the Texas Council for Developmental Disabilities, whose mission is to create change so that all people with disabilities are fully included in their communities and exercise control over their own lives. Learn more about the Council at www.tcdd.texas.gov. For further information, you can find us, National Disability Institute, at www.realeconomicimpact.org, or the Texas Council for Developmental Disabilities at www.tcdd.texas.gov.